Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and tonight I'm proud to bring you Joyful Empowerment with Joanne Gajewski. Greetings, Joanne. How are you?
Good, Hercules. A little unexpected on the Zoom, but this seems to be happening with me a lot with technology lately, so I'm kind of used to it. I think I'm in Mercury retrograde for technology all the time. I feel like.
Well, you have a wonderful guest tonight. We were chatting a little bit before we started, so I'm looking forward to tonight's show. I'll be
Yeah.
here in case you need me.
Okay, thank you so much. And hello, everyone out there in Mount Olympus land. Tonight, I have a wonderful guest. I know her from when I moved up here to Berlin, New Hampshire, and her name is Claudette Eames. And she has a very amazing story on on just things that she does. She went from having a big house and big up here in the mountains, and she pared that all down, and then she up and moved to South Carolina into tiny homes. And she's done a lot of incredible things. And I find her very inspirational for women, any woman over 40 that is starting to question life, because let me tell you, she just is full of life and does amazing things. So without further introduction, here's my friend Claudette. And if people don't know you, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Oh boy, here we go. Hi there. Hi, Joanne.
Hello.
So I am one of 12 children. So I grew up with a big family in northern part of New Hampshire, where Joanne's at. I married my sweetheart, and we moved to his hometown. So we lived in a big old kind of farmhouse style big house and brought up two children. And in that town was 300 residents. So I went from the city of Berlin to Errol, New Hampshire, which was just a very small town. So the population's mostly vacationers. So, anyways, we brought up our family there, and life went, like all of us, through a lot of different changes. And I have a son and a daughter, so we brought up the two children up there. They did their schooling up there in a very, very small school. Was always been self-employed. But then there was a time when my dad needed help. And with his painting, he was a self-employed painting contractor and wallpaper hanger. And I started to work with Dad because Dad needed help, and he really should have been retired. So Dad finally retired, and I took on working as a painter and a wallpaper hanger, and did that for 25 years, unbeknownst that that would be something I would do. So life just continued to make changes and do things, and I'm always a caregiver. Through my years, I mean, from high school on, actually since 12 years old, took care of baby sister. But I was always a caregiver, and self-employed. So just always a doer, always getting things done, always learning things, always growing. And then we had made a move between my hometown and Jesse's hometown, and we were in Milan. And we were there for a few years, and then I lost my sweetheart unexpectedly. So I went through more changes, and it wasn't easy. Definitely not an easy transition for anybody when you lose somebody who has been your everything and you've done everything together. We had our small circle, and it wasn't easy. It brings back a lot of memories, and remembering that I really went into a really dark hole, and that's just not who I ever was. So it took me I'll say a few weeks. Some will probably take longer. It took me a few weeks when I said, that that's not who I am, and I'm better than that, and that I have more to offer myself and others if I take care of myself. So I did. I switched it around and took care of myself. And it was important to start on that healing journey of grief, and a healing journey of growing and taking care of myself. So I continued to work on that, and be better, along with all the other caregiving that I continue to do as I worked. It's it's really hard for anybody to understand grief until they go through it, and we all go through grief. Grief is just a part of life, and there's just so many different levels. And but the only thing is you have to own it. Really don't know how else to say it, but you really have to own it if you're really ready. I mean, you're never ready, um, but in order for it to process and to grow from it, you have to own it. And if you want to be better, and you want to offer more to life, to yourself first, because you're no good for anybody else unless you are good to yourself. You can't shine on the outside unless you're shining on the inside. So when you start taking care of yourself, then you have more to offer the world. And that's kind of where I was. And I knew that I had more to offer in myself. And then for me to be there for my children, even though they were young adults, that I had to keep moving forward. So for me, it's a constant thing where, and that's what I share in my socials, even though I'm a digital marketer, it's not just about my marketing. It's not what it is. It's just who I am. And if I can offer and help anybody, that's what I'm going to do. I'll just continue to offer any kind of positive. I mean, and I have my struggles. I mean, I have an autoimmune skin condition that I never understood. And of course, they never give you the details on what you really should do. I had to learn it on my own. And I have, and it's actually from network marketing that I began to learn and be more healthy, was because I got involved with, unbeknownst to me that I'd be doing that, but I went through a lot of transitions, through the years, and that's where I started to learn more about my health and really grabbing a hold completely on the inside, not just doing surface level things and changing your diet and all those kinds of stuff. So for me, sharing and being positive and bringing those things out, to help others really helps me shine, not just on the outside. It's very warming. It's very, very helpful. So, it's not just about caregiving and people who no longer can care for themselves. It's also caregiving for myself and helping those that I know that they can do something for themselves, but they have to choose to. So if you're ready to own that and be in a better place, I'm a good listener, a really good listener, and love helping people. And as I grow different levels in my digital marketing, I encounter that. I encounter this, even though it's not just their business, I encounter it on a personal level. So when they can grow that way, they become even stronger in their business. So that's just part of what I do. Maybe it's strength of being the middle child of 12 or whatever. I don't know. It's just so many of us, out of all of us, it seems like all of us have had and have been self-employed, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We're all, whether it's the artsy side or whatever, in some way, we're all hands-on. We're hands-on workers. So, I mean, even though now that I've changed to digital, and mostly after moving to South Carolina. So I was ready for change. I was tired of plowing. I had 11 winters. I had to learn how to plow with my bucket loader. It was with the bucket loader. I had to learn how to plow with the bucket
That's
loader.
amazing.
Yeah.
There's no way I would be able to do that. I'd probably damage something.
You don't know until you put in that place, because I never thought I'd be running it, and so it became my bucket loader, and I had to learn how to do it. So for 11 winters, I did. Just it's what I had to do. You had to be taken care of, and I mean, there was expenses, and I didn't have those that money to just dish out for someone else to take care of it. So I had to own it again.
Yeah.
I had to put my best foot forward and say, Claudette, you can do this.
That's amazing though, because I think a lot of grief is raw. I always say that because it's an all-consuming thing, and unless you go through it, you really don't know. You know what I mean? And when I lost my dad, I went through that similar thing where you're just like, oh, wow, you know what I mean? Like it's just, and the one thing I've learned is there is no time limit. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You know what I mean? You just kind of have to, pace yourself through it, I guess would be the word. And everybody deals with it in different ways. I know, I finally started to have a breakthrough when remember all those Bernie Sanders memes were coming out with him with the mittens,
Yes.
and I was sitting at my kitchen table and I was laughing hysterically, and I heard my own laughter, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this is the first time I've laughed,
Mhm.
and I was by myself in like months, and it was just, weird to hear my own laughter. So you make those breakthroughs kind of in stages, I guess would be the word.
You do, and you can't put a time limit because people ask, I mean, I have, one of the widows groups in my Facebook and stuff, and, some are new in there and they ask, and there's no such thing as a timeline.
Yeah.
When I share it, basically what it comes down to is you have to choose to own it and take those steps. I don't know how else to say it, but I mean, when I finally agreed to take care of me, that's when some changes happen. I mean, and Jesse was the first big one lost in our family, and my dad didn't know how to handle it. My dad was still living. My dad, I was dad's princess, and it was, I was his girl after 5 boys kind of thing. And
Yeah.
my dad, at that point in his life did not know how to handle that. And my dad wasn't a crier. He didn't show that, out on the outside. So it's like, Dad, I'm going to be okay. It's just going to take time. And we don't have these choices. It's something that just you don't know. So, I mean, losing a spouse, losing a parent, losing a child, they're all different. They're not the same. But I've lost many. I mean, I've lost my parents. I've lost a couple siblings. I've lost Jesse. I mean, niece. I mean, it hasn't stopped, and
Yeah.
it's not going to.
Yeah.
It's not going to. So I mean, it's just, unfortunately, it's just it's that circle of life that we have to accept, and I just hold on to the memories. So when I downsized before I moved from New Hampshire to South Carolina, we downsized, and I say we because my daughter and my grandson, we did it together. It was just like forever. It was like just filling up a room. There was a sunroom when you just kept, going through stuff and putting. And I had already downsized quite a bit beforehand, going through the process of losing somebody. And so, but believe it or not, after moving down here, you wouldn't believe the amount of stuff we downsized more
Wow.
down here. And I can tell you, it's so freeing to downsize. It's just amazing because you don't need all the things. You just don't.
Yeah.
There are things, you know it's just it's a process, but if you're considering to do that, it's amazing feeling. It's such an amazing feeling.
So what, like, how did you start with the downsizing? Did you just say, all right, I'm going to look at all these things and
So my best way, and I shared this recently, is it was, if you're in a situation and you have a big home, if you can dedicate one room to just, as you go through the house, don't just pick a room to go through, but you're going through rooms and you look at something going, well, it doesn't really serve a purpose. Take that thing and carry it to that dedicated room. Leave it there, walk away, and continue to do that. Bring that thing to that room. And then every once in a while, don't do it all the time, but walk into that room and say, does anything hit you and say, I'm not ready to let go? And if it's not, then walk away and know that, don't ever judge it. Don't consider it again. Just, it's gone.
yeah,
The amount of things that the local what's a donate I can't even think of the name now. Anyways, a local place in Berlin that takes stuff and all the donation items and stuff, they came and they picked it up.
yeah.
And they're like, all that? I'm like, yep, all of it, done. And they filled the truck.
Wow.
We sold a bunch of big things, but when it comes to
Yeah.
all the little things and stuff, gone. Just let them do it. Give it to somebody who can use it. And the same thing we did down here. We sold the bigger items, but there was some other bigger items we gave away, and we gave them away to veterans, single moms. Basically, that's what it was: veterans and single moms.
Yeah.
And we shared and gave to them. And it felt good. It felt so good to be able to do that. So, gonna get tickle in my throat.
I know you don't realize it, but when you're talking for a while, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you gotta have that water handy.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, it's just continuously just working on being better and being able to share and help others. And I mean, I'm in some big training for my network marketing. And I mean, these other ladies that I talk to, there's some men. Um, they're not in my specifically in my network marketing business that I'm building, or my affiliate digital. I have a digital done for you business that I'm building. Um, some are, some aren't, but I mean, we help each other,
Yeah.
and the thing is, we grow. This conversation comes up because one lady actually is a widow, and we'll have that discussion, and it's interesting to listen to each other and be able to help each other. And so that's really rewarding too, to do that. When we have met in person at a training, so which is pretty cool. But I mean, I tell people, don't be afraid to ask. Don't stop talking to people who have lost, whether it be, a spouse or a parent. Don't leave them alone. They need you, you know. There's no reason why they shouldn't be important.
So if I was to ask you right now, what what defines joyful empowerment for you? What would be your response after all these things you've gone through? What brings you joyful empowerment, or how does that define for you?
Hmm. Well, I mean, my biggest joy is knowing that I can help somebody else. That I'm kind of going to get rid of that tickle, I guess. Knowing that I can give something back, that I, no matter in different ways that I share, and even it's not necessarily just on Facebook. I mean, I will message somebody, I'll text somebody, and if I know there's something going on, I'll make sure that I message people, whether messenger or texting or whichever the case may be, and let them know that they're not alone. It doesn't have to be grief per se. It can just be that they're having a bad day. Just let them know it's okay. And if you want to chat, I can chat. If you don't, but just know that I'm thinking about you. For me, it's always about. I'm not worried about receiving. If I know that I'm giving and I can give something positive, then I know that that's going to come back to me in some way. And that's really important because I really don't focus. Negative just isn't a thing. And if for some reason I get in that place, I'm really fortunate because my daughter's really good about it. She's a lot like her dad, where she'll put me back on track. It's like, Mom, it's not important. Just let it go.
Yeah.
It's different family dynamics and all the kind of things that we all go through, right? That's just part of life. Mom, let it go. It's not worth it. Move
Yeah.
on. So, I mean, I've grown stronger because of that. Because before, it's not that I relied on my relationship, in my life that I had for 26 years. It's just you grew together and you did
Yeah.
things together, and that's who we were. We were just that connected. So then when it's gone, it's like, where do I go?
Yeah.
So I had to teach myself to that I can do this and I am worthy. So I kept myself so busy that I didn't know any different. And then I just became stronger and stronger. And of course, as I became involved with network marketing once again, and the digital marketing and the connecting with people, that has helped me grow because I had to put myself in a leadership role of being positive, and because I'm not worth anything to anybody to build a business if I'm going to be negative. If that's where they're going to sit, they're either going to come out of it, or I don't want you on my team because
Yeah.
it doesn't carry any value and they're not going to go anywhere. And I don't want negative Nellies and those kinds of things because it just isn't worth it.
No.
So if you're going to live your best life, then you have to put that in you. You have to want to be there. It has to be a part of you.
Yeah.
So for me, and joyful empowerment is always about those kinds of things. I go to I'm a Rotarian, and we're at Rotary. We have what we call Happy Dollars, and we all have a chance to speak and talk. And I always make sure that I write it down because I don't want to miss my opportunity to say the right thing. And
Yeah.
and I don't bring out a negative. I mean, every now and then someone will bring a little something, and it's not because of that. They're just asking for support.
Yeah.
But for me, I can't. It's like, this is not important. The important things is I want you to know, what's really lifting me up, and
Yeah.
I want to shine. I want to. So it gives me a chance to shine on the outside, even though I feel it inside. And so it's
Yeah.
just kind of nice to get that back and have people excited for you. So for me, that it's an important part of people connection on the outside. So when I found Rotary, that was really fantastic because it gave me people connection and it gives me an opportunity to volunteer, which is really
Yeah.
really awesome too.
Through I always like to say through empowering each other, we empower ourselves, you know what I mean? And, finding out through helping other people,
Right.
you end up helping yourself in some way, shape, or form, whether it be you have an epiphany or just you bounce ideas off each other. But I'm a firm believer that, joyful empowerment comes from not just the self, but from working, like you said, networking with other people.
Yeah.
And understanding that, yeah, we're all going to feel bad. We're going to have these things that happen, but it's how to acknowledge and work through it is the main part. And that's why, that's what I try to do with this show, is to have people see different ways to navigate these things.
Right.
Everybody has their thing that brings them joyful empowerment, whether it be gardening, whether it be a magical practice, whether it be, digital marketing.
Yeah.
My last month, one of my friends, we started off working together in a pizza shop. And now he's like traveling the world and writing novels, and he's a PhD,
Yeah.
so many things, that people do,
Right.
to help get them through it. And you learn things about yourself,
Oh.
So when you got to, what prompted South Carolina? Like what,
Well,
other than the snow up here.
right. Well, I in all honesty, that's kind of where it came down from, because I was just tired of my body temperature is always cold. And so it was always fighting the cold and fighting the snow. And my daughter and grandson were living with me, and she said that, she was going through changes in her life. And she said that she always wanted to move back south. And my grandson was born in Florida. And I said, what? I think, I'd like to do that. I didn't have anything particular that was really tying me down, because at that point when he was born was after my mom had passed away. So that was the last I was taking, I was caregiver for my mom and my dad and my mom. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I think of all the things I did at that time, along with my, my painting business, like how did I do all that? But you do it, right? We just do it. So
Yeah.
anyways, it was I said, just choose a place. I'm going, let's go, and we get along really well. We have a good family dynamic. We're known as the 3 C's. So it's Claudette, Christina, and Corbin. So coincidentally, so you might even hashtag it and see it that way too. The 3 C's. So it just, yeah. So it was like, what? I had nothing to lose. I had everything to gain to just make a move and give it a go. So we did. You spoke about the tiny homes. We ended up in 2 tiny homes, and we just moved out. And the reason we moved out is our family dynamics had changed with work schedules, the grandson being homeschooled, and so being under one roof is just a lot easier.
Yeah.
So, miss the tinies, but we're setting goals. We have, dreams to goals and those kinds of things. And because of that, going under one roof is lining things up better for us, but we're living a minimalist lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's everything, even though we have more square footage than 2 tiny homes, believe it or not. But it is what it is, because in order to have 3 bedrooms, it was the only way we could do it.
Yeah.
But we're still living a minimalist lifestyle, and the second tiny is almost sold. So sold the first one, and the second one soon. Going to visit New Hampshire on Friday. We're heading up Friday.
Oh,
So,
nice. Are
yeah.
you coming up north or?
We'll figure out what's going on. My son and other grandson live in southern New Hampshire, and so we'll see how the dynamics fall. And it's gonna be day trips going north.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yeah, so we airlines Friday, all goes well.
I know. Wow. Yeah, the weather's been so, up here has been cloudy and rainy like all the time. It was another weird summer.
Yeah.
You know,
hopefully it changes this coming week. We've been spoiled
Yeah,
down
well, I heard Friday's supposed to be better. But we are talking way up north. I don't know what it's doing down south right now.
here. Right,
They're a little
right.
bit better. I look and I see people on the beach and I'm like, I'm looking out my window and I'm like, I don't see beach weather. I'm seeing like,
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah, so that's why how, where South Carolina came, and just had a cousin who shared areas of North Carolina, South Carolina. My daughter did not want to go back to Florida. And I just told her choose. I
yeah,
told her to choose because she's the one who has a son, and he's 8 now. But because she had the young one, it was more important that she found something that balanced for them, and I would just adjust because I was making a change no matter what. So we haven't got snow here for a couple winters. The first 2 winters there was some, and I had a caregiving job in Asheville, so I had to travel towards the Blue Ridge Mountains. So I did deal with some
yeah,
snow, but it comes and it goes. It's not, if something hits here where we are in the upstate, it's very minimal. And
yeah.
it just kind of, but it's been a couple winters since we've had anything here. But
Unlike here.
yeah.
Although, last winter wasn't really bad either, though. You know what I mean? Like,
It was
as far as
mild.
snow, I think we had one major storm, really. I mean,
It was kind of crazy. The weather's been crazy everywhere, but yeah, so that's how we ended up in South Carolina, and very happy here in the Greenville County. And I've just been spoiled with having theater to go to and concerts, and
yes.
they're not far away.
Culture.
I've had
Yeah,
some old timer from back in the day for us that I've had the opportunity to see them. So yeah, it's been great.
yeah.
And I'm just
That's
going alone. I don't worry about somebody else. I'm just doing it. People say,
that's awesome.
like, well, why drag somebody that who doesn't want to go?
Yeah.
Just I'm going and just enjoying life. Just, live your best life. Just
That's so powerful because I think, especially as women, as we get older, we worry about these things, and it's like, what am I going to do and what's going to happen? And I think society wise, we were conditioned. We went from women being the divine feminine, right? The goddess model and all that
right.
to, you know, once they hit 50, they're not, there's no use anymore. You know what I mean? Like society wise, and I think we're starting to change that dynamic, which is fabulous, you know,
Yeah.
the rise of the divine feminine. So I think it's awesome that you go out and you take on these challenges,
Yeah.
because that's very empowering. That's strong.
Oh,
It's just one
absolutely. Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Because I mean, even some of the Rotarians would say, well, who'd you go with? I said, by myself. You went by yourself? I'm like, why didn't you ask me? I'm like, I'm not worried about dragging somebody. I'm not worried. I'm just making my schedule and I'm going. And I did
Yeah.
have one of my caregiving clients that I had, his wife, she said, you go to theater? I'm like, yeah. She goes, can I go with you? I'm like, sure. So
Yes.
we chose a date and, we went, it was here, but we did that a couple times. And it was kind of neat. I mean, she's like 20 years my senior, it's like, she don't mind. I'm like, why? I said,
Yeah.
we're all humans. Let's go. Let's go and have a good time,
Yeah.
So,
Well, when I worked for the airlines, I think that's where I learned to be okay with doing things alone, because I'd have to travel for work.
oh yeah.
So to me, like going out to eat by myself, everybody's like, you go out to, I could never go out to eat alone. I'm like, well, if you're traveling for work, sometimes you have to do that or you're going to like not eat, so, to me, and when I went to London, I hoofed all around alone,
Hmm.
and I met people along the way. And then obviously when I was doing my work over there,
Yeah,
I met people and, they took me different places, but I've always had that adventurous spirit in me, I guess, too, of
that's
wanting
great.
to explore. The only thing up here is it takes an hour to get anywhere.
Yeah, and it brings back some good memories because when I was first widowed, it was one of the things that I finally started challenging myself. Even though we were in a very small area, it took a lot for me just to go to the coffee shop in Gorham by myself
Yeah.
because I was used to always going with somebody.
Yep.
Which is what I did. And someone's like, what's the big deal? I'm like, you don't understand until that's who you are, or
Mhm.
that's, even whatever the case may be. But I would challenge myself, and it would like wipe me out for the day, when I
Yeah.
first started doing it, because it was like very emotional. Even though I would go late morning, it's like the rest of the day, it's like, that was a lot.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But I
You know,
finally, now it's like no big deal.
but see, the thing is, you acknowledge that, and that's the great part of it, because, you know, it's not going to be easy and I'm going to get up and do that. You're going to have those feelings, and you're going to, like you said, it took you the better part of the day to feel better, but you walk through that fear and you kept doing it. And that's the whole, I think, message behind, you know, the, the issue,
Yeah.
is that you have to just,
I have to just do
small
it.
attainable goals. People are probably
Yeah.
like, oh, a coffee shop, but, small attainable goals is what you have to do.
It did.
Um,
Yeah, I had to pace myself.
but that's for anything, we all seem to think that we have to do everything right now and
Right.
do it all. And we look at the whole picture, and it's like, and then by the time by the time you're done looking at the picture, you're tired,
Yeah.
So I tell people, it's small attainable goals. What's
Right.
one small thing you can do to get yourself closer to what you want,
Hmm. I mean,
and
yeah, it takes a while. Maybe it doesn't take a while, but you have to allow yourself grace and just try. And maybe the first time's not going to be successful. You're going to walk in and you're going to walk out. The next time, maybe you'll just walk in, you'll do takeout and walk out. And the next time you're going to walk in, you'll say, oh, no, I'm going to sit down. You have to allow yourself that space. And down here, you can't stop me now, because I'm done missing out, because for many years up there, I was not doing things. It took a lot just go to
yeah,
the coffee shop, or to sit down in that cafe. And that's all I would do.
yeah.
But now down here, a couple years ago, I went to the Panthers Stadium. You know what the hardest part was? The parking.
That's awesome.
That was the
The
hardest part.
hardest part
Was
was
the
the
parking.
parking.
It was just to find parking, to get in that parking. I mean, walking into the stadium, which is the biggest stadium, and went to go see Billy Joel. I mean,
That's
I
awesome. How
wasn't gonna
was
miss it.
that?
Oh my God, it was phenomenal. It's
I
absolutely.
saw him with Elton John at the Boston Garden. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He wasn't yeah, it was just him, but oh my gosh, it was absolutely phenomenal. What a phenomenal. I've seen a bunch of the ones that we grew up with, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean down here. I mean, I have to travel an hour, yeah, about an hour to go to that stadium. But when I got in there, that I was unfortunately that seat at the aisle where all the beer runners go up down the steps, right? So I
Yeah.
go to sit, and there's a couple, there is whatever, spouse, whatever. The two of them were sitting there, and they couldn't understand why there was one seat. So when I sat, they're like, "That's yours." I'm like, "Yeah." "You're by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, that's so awesome." They were just so proud of the fact that I mean, they acknowledged the fact that I was brave enough to go there myself. This
Yeah.
is coming from a younger couple. So I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm done. I said, no more sitting around. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
that's the whole thing, to always have that sense of wanting to, of wonder, and I want to do that, and
Just go.
important. That's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Just go. I mean, so we just make,
Especially it's,
yeah.
at least you're going an hour to a stadium. Here, what, we have to
No,
travel
I
an
know.
hour to get
Yeah.
to a decent supermarket.
Yeah, and I know I'm definitely spoiled on that end of being able to hit these kinds of things. I mean, there's local theater, so I mean, I'm and the same thing at different times I go in the theater, and it's local theater. I also been seeing Broadway and stuff, but um, when I go in this one particular local theater, different times when there's couples that are older than me or younger, and they're like, "You by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah, really?" Like, it's just a theater show. Yep, let's go. Let's watch a show. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So it's, yeah, definitely,
Don't know what
definitely.
the stigma is with that. The people like, you're alone. It's like
Yeah.
it like fascinates them.
Well, it does, because so many will come in either as a couple, or they come in as a group. A bunch of them. It's like, I ain't waiting around for anybody. I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, it's odd that as a society, that weirds us out.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I had this group texting that started a couple days ago to figure out. One of the girls said, "Oh, I got a little bit extra money," and she wanted to go do something. So I threw a few ideas out there, and nope, can't do that. Can't do that. I'm thinking like, I would have never got to see a concert if I had to do that.
yeah,
Every time. It's exhausting.
yeah,
It's but it's like,
you know,
I get it because some people can't do it alone, or they really want a group of people, and that's okay. But I've gotten so used to going alone that when it comes to a group thing, I'm lost at this
yeah,
point because I'm so used to going alone. And the only group things I've been doing is, go to my Rotary or going to volunteer for the different things we do for the Rotary, which has been great. Like,
yeah.
you know, you're with other people, I mean, volunteering and such, and it's all, it's a wonderful thing. But when you're trying to organize something, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, I think it's empowering that you did, to do things by yourself. You know what I mean? I think that I don't, to me, there's no, I think we need to bring more of that in, because I think a lot of people, like you said, when they face loss, as opposed to getting out there and continuing to live,
Mhm.
they completely lose themselves. Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like their identity was tied into that relationship,
Right.
and they stop, once that, and you can't.
Right.
Like you said, there's so much more to life for you.
Right.
What were you gonna do? Stop
Well,
and, you know,
I mean, it's
not to sound morbid,
but
but you know what I
no,
mean?
no, but I mean, the loss is always there for me. And I feel it. There's different times when I just, say Jesse's name, and it catches me, and it does make me tear. And I mean, it's been 15 years, but it doesn't matter. It was, it's not like it was yesterday, but it was still a very important part of my life and a part of who I am. And because of the grief, that is also a part of who I am and part
Yeah.
of what I've had to grow through, and, the things that I've gone through, and, and it became part of who things I share, and I help others, and I listen, and share ideas of how for them to move forward by just sharing it, in reference to, messaging, and and giving them, encouraging them to take a step forward, that kind of stuff. It's just, I'm still here. I'm here. I didn't go with him. I'm here, so I'm going
Yeah.
to live my best life. I'm going to continue to do and live my best life, but he'll always be a part of me because it's
Yeah.
just it's part of me. It's a part of, who I grew with, and then I'm just continue to grow. So we don't stop
Well,
growing.
and I think a lot of people, I guess the word would be, we have to learn to own our grief,
Mhm.
and let it empower us as opposed to stop us,
That's right.
because, if we think about it, like if I think about my dad, he wouldn't want me to stop living my life because he's no longer here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh
He
yeah.
would, and, so I'm sure Jesse would feel the same for you. He's
Absolutely.
probably so happy that, all these accomplishments you've done, and, we have to learn that. And I think here's the problem, like I said, with ageism and things like that. When you hit a certain age, like it's what do they call it? A stereotype, that you're supposed to be this way, and
Right.
and this is how
And
you're supposed to be, and you're supposed to dress this way, and you're supposed to do these things. And it's like,
no.
no,
Nope. Ain't happening. Nope.
yeah,
Yeah, ain't
you
happening.
know,
Right.
it's not 1895, and
That's right.
I don't have to man the frontier. I can go to the theater, I can go to the,
Yep.
to dinner, I can go shopping with friends, without friends, and of course, to the best of our ability. But you know
Yeah, continue to grow. I mean, it's been well, not quite 2 years. So it was 2 years ago in the come fall when I end up co-authoring in that book. I mean, that was
yeah,
that was not on the radar. That was not something that I ever anticipated to be a part of my life. But it presented itself when I was in a training. It was something that had come up, and it's like, you know what, it was an investment. And, it doesn't, those things don't come cheap. It was
Yeah.
an adjustment, but that was like the best thing I ever did to help me. Even at that point, 2 years ago when I was going through that process and doing that, I grew as a person just because it was the story about us and grief, my grief and stuff, but the story of my family and everything in there. So it was such an incredible, empowering experience to do that. And I at first I'm thinking like, Claudette, what are you doing? But you know what? It was because I just ran with it and I was just doing the best I can. And I so don't regret that at all. It was a
Kind
very,
of what happened with me with Hercules. I was in the middle and he's like, "Oh, I think you should do a podcast." I'm like, "Huh? Okay." And
where
I'm
did
like,
that
"What
come
am I
from?
doing?"
Yeah, so so definitely another one of those things that just, I mean, I never anticipated to be a painter or wallpaper hanger in my life. That wasn't, something that I thought. I mean, I was just self-employed, I had worked a direct sales thing. I was taking care of kids at home. I had a craft shop at our home up in Errol, and I was doing all the volunteer stuff and all that kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden, Dad needed help. It's like, well, if Dad needs help, I'll go help him.
Yeah.
So then it just became that there was people, and Dad should be retiring, and I was like, okay. So for 25 years, I did that. Who would ever thought I'd be wearing that hat? But I did it.
Yeah.
It was the most amazing thing, and um, and now I'm back into sales, and but working from home is just it's an incredible opportunity because of how our life things have changed with our
Yeah.
dynamics here. It's given me the opportunity to be able to do this and to help take care of the grandson and work my schedule so we can still go do things. I mean, my business is coming with me. It's digital, so business coming
Yeah.
with me, and I'll still, I have some different calls that I have to be on, but we're still going. And
Yeah.
computer comes, and gonna get it done. Gotta get it
And
done.
I think that that's great too, that we have that opportunity now to be able to work from home and be productive, because
Mhm.
I think as we get older, we think, oh, what am I going to do now? And
Right.
well, people retire and then you hear these stories all the time. And then like a month later, it's like, and,
They're
and my,
bored.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, and then they're wanting to go back to work or they're finding part-time work because, we're so conditioned as a society to think, hey, we have to stop here.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
wrote a book. I mean, what it was, and that just came out of a meeting.
I was actually in a training for I was had joined a different network marketing, and I had come upon this training, so I joined this training company, and this offer came through their what they had to offer, and I interviewed with them and talked to them, and I was like, I don't even know what I would write because I said it wasn't something I thought about. So, talking about my life as we're talking, and he's like, that's leadership. These are all steps and different things you've done. He said, that's
Yeah.
because the book was all going to be based on the power of leadership. And I'm like, okay, you
I would
know,
definitely agree with them because
yeah,
you're like leading the way for so many
yeah,
other women,
yeah,
and you need, and putting yourself out there. It's a message that a lot of women need to hear.
yeah.
I was talking with my co-host on my other pod, and he was like, "That's such an important topic,"
Mhm.
for women that are, like I say, 40 and up, because you start to think differently, and your I don't know, your needs and your wants change,
Oh, it's an
and
incredible shift. Yeah, definitely a shift.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like and I hate the fact that society, it's like, oh well, yes, I'm 50 now, I've outlived my usefulness. It has that
No,
look. I mean, it's like I'm like, no, no, no. you
nope,
know
no. I'm just gonna keep going, keep going. I have too many things on my list of things that I want to do, what I want to see. Want to be able to help people. I just there's no time to stop. There's too many
so
things
what's
to do.
next what's next for the incredible Claudette?
Well, I just taken on another affiliate opportunity. So, and this particular affiliate is a done for you. So it's a digital. So along with my network marketing, which is health and wellness, I have this done for you affiliate piece that somebody can either just purchase the products. I mean, there's over 200 products in there that they can purchase, and I don't have to build it. It's already built.
Oh,
So, but people can become an affiliate for it, and they can share it to sell the digital products, or rather be people to be affiliate. And it's just the way they have this whole program, the way it's all set up. It's just, I've never seen anything like it, because I have a few other affiliates. So, I mean, I have a little income streams of things that I can share for people who are looking for training, different stuff that I can earn money off of.
yeah.
And I have this other big training company that I'm currently with that I'm going to be ending at the end of August with them. And it was a big investment. I've flown to Arizona for training with them. I mean, most of our training is online, so, digital, but I have gone to Arizona. I went to LA in January. I did the virtual. They were in LA again, but I did the virtual. So I was in training from Thursday through Sunday. And it's just, they're a phenomenal opportunity for anybody who's in the network marketing. So, I mean, I have an affiliate piece for them. Those opportunities are there to bring income streams. It doesn't have to be just one thing. If you work in digital, there is some opportunity to have other tools to bring in income. So, and that's what I'm doing. And it's not exactly where I thought I'd be, but it's just what has come to be. So, I mean, I've just taken the opportunity, to use those tools for my advantage and to help others build as well.
Yeah.
And they've just been a really, really phenomenal thing. I've learned things that I've never in my life would have thought I'd learn. Because, I mean, the computer was like, Jesse, set it up and I'll, do something, but it was not like I did anything on it. And now it's like, look at me go kind of thing.
I know. That's amazing, because I don't understand the whole digital marketing thing. And I have another one of my friends is doing it as well. And she's very successful with it. And I'm just like, she's like, oh, you should do this. And I'm like, I don't know, and I'm like,
well, you
I'm
know
like,
what? You can't get hurt by it, So, I mean, depending what she has to offer, check it out and share my name with her, because I might have something, this new tool might be something she'd like.
Yeah.
So.
But definitely.
Yeah.
So if people want to work with you and stuff, how do they get a hold of you? Like, do you have a website? Do you have an email or anything?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few different ways. So, I do have a website, which is just my name, Claudette Eames, .com. And they can reach me there. My socials, Facebook and Instagram, on TikTok, all the things. I mean,
You're TikToking? I don't even TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok for the product side. Yeah, on the health and wellness for detoxing. It's not for cleansing. Yeah, so my business page on Facebook is under Claudette Eames, and then my personal profile is my main name's in the middle, so it's Claudette Paulin Eames. That's the best way. Best way is through Facebook, or just emailing me at claudetteeames@gmail. I mean, I have my other business email, but that one works. claudetteeames@gmail.com works. It's a great way to. My website, like I said, is just claudetteeames.com.
Yeah.
So that's an easy in. The socials are all in there, so they can find those on my website as well.
Well, we did post the link,
Mm-hmm.
well, now I'll be able to post the link under the Zoom for you.
Right.
Once we get everything on, because we went the video route, because I don't know, Blog Talk wasn't working. Maybe I broke Blog Talk.
He said it was working this afternoon. It just and then tonight it wasn't.
Trying to post links in there, and I can never do it. I don't know why, but
Yeah, technology. There's hiccups here and there. It's just.
I think it's great. I'm so happy. And was South Carolina like a culture shock from?
Well, yeah, because where we are here in, I'm in Greenville County. I mean, it's, it's definitely not Berlin, New Hampshire. Population wise, one of the main drags, or whatever you want to call it, is not a 2-lane, it's 6 lanes. It's not even the interstates, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
one of these main, throughways that people are on. And just the amount of thousands of people that pass through that road in a day is crazy, crazy numbers. It just, but there, I mean, but it's not far to get to the waterfalls. And I mean, the ocean's 3 hours away, depending where you're going, North Carolina, down South Carolina, and, where we are. And because we're in the upstate corner on the west corner, so we're only 45 minutes to Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
But I mean, so, the Blue Ridge Mountains are, just outside of Asheville, and, they're not far, so we can get to the mountains, and we can get to the ocean, and airport's 10 minutes away. So, it's just, it was a big change, and I knew it would be. And it's funny because, the state we came to, and an area we came to in the very south, and they're, all these barbecuers and stuff, and we're vegetarian. So yeah, we're not
Me, I'm not a
we're not grilling
vegetarian.
burgers. Yeah.
I have to have I try and eat right, but sometimes I need a burger or a steak.
Well, it's
And
not that it's a problem. It's just, it's a choice. It's a lifestyle choice. And I've actually been doing this before I moved south. I mean, that was back in like 2015, I think, when I had switched.
Yeah.
You just have to remember to make sure you're taking in all the other things to bring in all the right vitamins. And I've learned a lot through the years. And of course, being in the health and wellness business and stuff, I've learned so much more, and always learning. And it's really, really kind of cool. My daughter is a cook, a chef. She does all the cooking. I don't do any cooking. I don't do any shopping. So I am blessed with a chef in the house.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I get all the good eats, and no complaints here. No complaints.
That's interesting. So is she vegetarian too, or?
She is. She's gone back and forth, but she does better when she follows vegetarian. She feels better.
Yeah.
Because she had kind of swayed the other way. I'm like, do what you need to do. It's fine. And she was still cooking vegetarian for me. But now she's back to doing vegetarian. My grandson will have meat. But he has a few friends that he spends time with at different places, and, they have meat, and she's like, if he wants it, it's fine. It's fine. Just, he has to find his way. Not, he's not being forced into anything particular. But
so you don't have any fish or chicken or anything? Just
no. No, you just, by using the tofu and the beans and different things, and, that kind of stuff, and the rices and whatever, you get all that balance happening. She made an incredible, I forget exactly what it's not tofu. It's another, I forget the proper name, but she made an egg the other morning, Sunday morning. You would have had no idea that it was not egg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was quite phenomenal.
There's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
On vegetarian cooking and chef.
I'd have to have the chef on it, because that's not she does all the things on that. It's not my
That's
thing.
so cool. That's amazing.
Cooking was never something I cared to do. So it was something that I would tolerate, and I would do it through the years. And of course, in those years I was cooking meat and stuff. My biggest negative when it came to cooking was when we had a gathering, which was quite often. I hated the timing. It would take me all day to figure things out, because I just didn't like the timing. It was like this huge chore. So it came a point when, as life changed and different things, Jesse started just taking over the cooking, and I was a sous chef. And that was like the best thing ever. So, and he loved doing grocery shopping. So he started doing the grocery shopping, and he was cooking. So it's been years for me to have to really cook, other than when Christina wasn't living with me. I mean, I was cooking, and I'd make a big pot of something, and I'd eat that forever, because I hated cooking. And but my mom and dad didn't mind, because I would deliver to them. Yep. So I would, they had the Eames train, we called it. So I would deliver. I said Meals on Wheels. They said no, they didn't like that, because they didn't want Meals on Wheels. So it was the Eames train. So I would deliver food to them. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, did that forever for them. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, the whole timing thing with cooking, you should see me at Thanksgiving time, because I I always do Thanksgiving, and it's like I always put on this like spread, and it's like strategically planning. It's like, you know what I mean? I have to start certain things 2 days before and
Yep.
some things the day before. And it's like this
And
whole
then
like
it's
plan.
and then it's all gone like that.
Yeah. But I love it still. It's my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah, yeah.
time of the year for me anyway, you know.
That's okay. That's great. It's something you look forward to, and you still manage it. But yeah, yeah, I'm good about being sous chef.
And I'm so happy because Rudy
I
is
saw
pushing
that.
it. You know, I'm like, if you're from up here, everybody knows Rudy's Market, and
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I saw that. I said, "Oh boy, there's gonna be some happy people."
yes, completely was happy. I'm like, oh, I can get my turkey again, and you know,
Yeah.
my
So
chicken salad.
but you have to organize a pickup place.
Yep,
Yep.
I think he has one set up for, I think, Jericho Road up here.
It's kind of what you
He-
did with Saladino's was doing that kind of thing too. You know,
yeah,
when they went to transition, they were doing that kind of thing as well. So hey, if
yeah, I
people
miss
really want it, they're gonna
Saladino.
make it happen, right?
Yep, I miss Saladino's. I love his sandwiches.
Mm, yeah,
He used to
definitely.
he used to make really good paninis.
Yes, yes. Yep.
But
All the goodies. Yeah. So
I
yeah.
know. Well, you know, it's hard, you know, because a lot of the food up here is just the same, you know. Um,
Yeah,
so
there's no
it's
yeah, the variety.
that
Yeah.
was the biggest. Everybody's like, "What do you miss?" I said, "You know, I miss being able to get takeout at any time of night. I miss, you know, any type of food in the world at whatever time you want
Mhm.
delivered. You know, I miss going grocery shopping at 11 at night. Things like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it takes an hour to get anywhere.
Yeah. That definitely a big transition in it. And like, for you it was going from all to nothing, and me was going nothing to all. And
Oh, it's funny. When I went to New York last year, I cried. I cried when I got there because I was in New York City, and I cried when I left because I was leaving New York City. You know, it was like because everything, the city never sleeps.
right. Yeah.
Walking around, everybody's walking around, and food, and oh, it's just good.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, not yeah. Yeah, so I
So
don't
what's your next plan?
that's my next plan. We haven't organized exactly our next tackle. We're heading for a vacay and up in New Hampshire. And it's funny because her girlfriends from Florida are flying in, and they're going to stay at our place here so that they'll get to do the South Carolina stuff while we're away. And we have 3 cats. Not completely the intention of having 3 in one house, but it's going well. um, in one place. But so they'll be tending to the cats and enjoying doing some things here in the upstate. Um, and then and then after that, when we come back, we're actually going to be selling the second tiny house. So, and she's somebody from New York, from Long Island, New York, who's buying the second one.
Ah,
So yeah, so we're going through some transitions there, and we're I don't know exactly what we have. I just know that we're going to be able to start, taking some time to go do things and not worry about yard work and all that kind of stuff, and go venture on I haven't been hiking my waterfalls, so that's long overdue to go for a waterfall hike. And Frisbee golf. I did it the first couple years we were here, and I haven't done it for a while, and I can walk to it. It's right next door.
yeah.
So if you've never played Frisbee golf, that's kind of cool. And I want to go when there's no pros around, because there's a lot that come with their backpack and the whole gear. So I want to go when nobody's there so I can just play and not be
That's
judged.
awesome.
No judgment. Yeah.
Well, it
So
was so good to have you on the show, and you know, I'm so excited that we had this chance to talk, and you
I
know,
really,
we're going to put your links down on the Zoom chats. And for everybody out there, thank you for tuning in with us and listening to the amazing Claudette and her story. I hope she empowered a lot of people. And I give it back to my producer to close the show, Mr. Hercules Invictus on Mount Olympus. You're on mute.
That gosh darn Zoom. I do that all
I
the
think
time.
is he back? No, he's on
Yeah.
mute.
Yeah, he's still on mute. I can see he's
I'm
there.
no longer on mute.
There you are.
There you are.
Much awesome program. I enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot. I just wanted to add a little something. I've been published in over 20 something paranormal anthologies.
Oh my
Really?
And somebody suggested it on the show. They said, "Why don't you write for paranormal anthologies?" And I said, what a great idea. So I started and I haven't stopped. So
goodness.
yes, it's good to listen to the universe every now and then. And you never know, you wind up with a podcast, you wind up with business, so
Yep.
it's a good thing.
Cool.
Thank you. I wish you all success in all your endeavors, great and small. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to listen to you speak tonight.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate the invitation, and it was a neat experience.
Good night, everybody. This will be posted by tomorrow at noon, hopefully by tonight.
All right. Thank you, Hercules.
Thanks, Joanne.
Bye-bye.